Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video I am going to be doing my weekly update for the second week in July. And this is the week I feel like I've really made some progress. I've caught up on some things and also threw in some other short things as well. And so I feel like I'm finally in a little bit of a better spot. A lot of stuff still that I want to read this month though, so we'll see where I end up. But let's jump into it. So the big one is I finished Assassin's Fate by Robin Hobb, the last book in the realm of the Elderlings. I have officially finished this 14-book series with 14? No, that's not right. There's 9, 13, 16 book series. I pulled the wrong number. But I've officially finished this series finally. Unfortunately, I had a lot of problems with this book. The last trilogy had some issues, but this book in particular I had a lot of issues with, so it's still a series I love overall, but I have a lot of thoughts after the last 7 books. The Rain Wild's all 4, and then this one, so 5 out of the last 7's having some serious, some quality drop and issues. So I will be having a video that comes out probably Friday where I talk about this trilogy, the Fits and the Fool trilogy, kind of go over all my thoughts there, because I'm not happy. I have a lot of complaints. There was good too, but I was disappointed. I really did not expect that to be the case. So there it is. I also finished Reef, which I started way earlier this month, and then I ended up putting it down because I had longer books that I was trying to finish and just get through, and so I sat down. This one was good. The story and the characters I thought were good, and the way the horror elements and some of the twists were set up I thought worked well. It's Daniel Barnett, so it has that atmospheric horror. The thing that just really did not work for me is the just overly sexual nature of so many different things. There were so many lines, so many parts where I just felt like it was needlessly sexual, and some of it, you know, there are some like sex scenes in it, but a lot of it's not. It's just like weird. That's not my thing. I've made no secret of that. I think if you've watched my channel, I always complain about sex scenes in books. It's just not something I enjoy reading. So it didn't really work for me. So that kind of took away some of my enjoyment. There was one part at the ending that I just felt like, it took it a little further than it needed to. But overall, I thought it was solid. For people who read more horror than I do, it's my understanding that there's a lot of horror authors that do that kind of thing, and a lot of people are totally fine with it. You know, Stephen King, for example, would be one I know, and Clive Barker I know, who have weird sexual stuff in their books. It's just not for me. It's one of the reasons I don't read a lot of horror. Nightmareland had some of it too, but Nightmareland just really pulled me in, so it worked for me. Not as much with Reef, but definitely a solid book. And if, like I said, if you like horror, I feel like most people probably would have a better time than I did with those parts, because that's kind of a me thing. On the audio front, I did finish New Spring, which really didn't take long, because this is by far the shortest book. I mean, it looks small. The text is a lot bigger in this than any of the other books as well, so that was a pretty quick thing. I actually was debating on not even doing audio, because I did use one of my credits on it, and I'm like, that's really short. Maybe I should just read it. But I'm like, I've been doing the audio for Wheel of Time, so I will keep it going for the reread, and got through quick, which meant I had a lot of extra time for audio, because normally it takes me most of the month to finish a longer audiobook, and I got through that really quickly. And the other one I did was Waylander, which was also very short. So I tried out a couple of different audios with mixed results as well. This is a lot of mixed results in this weekly update. But so I tried the Jigsaw Blade by Stevie Collier. This kind of cool cover, dinosaurs. Andrew, I think, came across this and mentioned it. He didn't actually I listened to it or didn't know a ton about it, just knew there was dinosaurs and that it was going to be kind of weird. And it's narrated by Kevin Kemp. This is the first thing I've listened from him, and he is fantastic. The only reason I kept going as long as I did is because he made it entertaining. The book, though, it started with really cool dinosaur stuff. You know me, I love dinosaurs. I was there for it. But it also did a lot of things I wasn't a huge fan of, including setting up one of those painfully tropey YA premises where all the people are in different classes based on their hair color, and like the brown hair people are on the bottom, and then it's redheads, and then green hair, like the main character. And that kind of annoyed me. It didn't harp on that a ton, though. So I'm like, okay, I can get past that. But overall, it reads pretty young, and it's a mix of reading very young and then having just some kind of like inappropriate yet juvenile humor mixed in there as well. And so this is something I think I would have DNF'd very quickly had I been reading it physically. I stuck around longer because I like the narrator, so I'll definitely be on the lookout, because I know Kevin Kemp narrated A Touch of Light, for example, which is something that I'm very much looking forward to reading. So I might do the Kindle and audio for that, just for more Kevin Kemp, because I loved him. Story just not really for me. If you're looking for something very light with a very entertaining narration, probably a safe bet. I'm just not someone who's into like the YA, and some of it YA, some of it felt almost more middle grade, even just with the way it read. It just read very, very young and was using some of the tropes I don't care for, and so tonally and prose style, I wasn't there for it, but the audio was really good. There was that. So then I needed something random, and I found this on Libby, and I never thought I'd actually read and or listen to it, but I thought, why not? The Infinity Blade, the first one, by Brandon Sanderson. So he did 2 novellas, for those who may not know, this was years ago, but he did 2 novellas that were like story bridges for some mobile game that was for Apple. I'm an Android guy, I never played it, never will. I don't think it exists anymore either. And I never really sought it out, because I'm like, I don't really care, but they had it, and it was like 5 hours before speeding up to 1.5 speed, so I'm like, okay, I can burn through this really quick, and so I did, and it was fine. You could definitely tell it was like set in a video game, but there were enough interesting aspects that, like, if it was a console game that I could actually go get and play, I'd probably give it a shot. But even if it was around, mobile games like that, I'm not a huge fan of. If I'm doing a mobile game, I want something to be a little more simple, I guess. But because I feel like it's harder to do a complex game on mobile, but so never gonna play the game. I'm not gonna listen to the second one either. Like, it was fine. It was pretty solid. It still kind of felt like a little bit of Sanderson, but it felt like very early Sanderson, and also the fact that he's writing in a video game setting just made it kind of like, it was all right. Really, I just listened to it for something to listen to until I figured out what I actually wanted to do for like the next full-on audiobook, because I wasn't entirely sure what I was going to do with that yet, because once I kind of finish this up, I got to figure out, I have a couple of other things I know I need to read, some books that were sent to me, some books I've just meant to get to, and so I'm kind of figuring that out, and then I'll grab something else on audio and go from there, because I found some free stuff on Audible. I scoured my library to see what all they have and tagged it all so I can find it later to find out, since I've been doing a little bit more of late with audio, so I will check there. And then finally, on the old Kindle, I am 29% through Second Spear by Kirsten Hall. And this is a novella, so I'm 29% through, but that's a very good chunk of it, page-wise, because it's pretty short. So like, I haven't read a ton of this, because I was reading other things, but I just popped this up, and all weekend I was just reading Long Reef before filming this, because I wanted to finish that, or otherwise I would have finished this too. So this will all be finished with quickly. This is the last one I have that was sent to me by the publisher. It was through NetGalley, but they had like pre-approved and sent me something about it, so I figured I'd give it a shot. It is supposed to be totally fine to start here, but it is the second book in a world, and I gotta stop falling for that, because I feel like this is another case of, you're telling me it's okay to start here, but I feel like maybe it's not, because this starts out with nothing being explained and just like drop after drop of in-world terms, in-world things, and so you really just are given no information on what's going on and just kind of keep going. That said, it's like I was able to figure out what's going on, but I just feel like the way it was written made me feel a little bit lost. But I'll keep going and see what I end up thinking. I don't have any strong feelings about it either way at this point. It took a while to get into it because of the fact that, once again, I didn't know what was going on, and no one was showing or telling me what was going on. But it seems like it's pretty unique, so once I finish that, I'll definitely talk more about it from there. But that's the last thing that I have specifically ongoing. And I still have to start a new physical book today, and I don't know what it'll be yet. I have some ideas, but you'll have to wait and see in the next weekly wrap-up what I end up picking up from there. That's really all I have for this one, though, so make sure to give the video a like if you enjoyed it. Check the link in the description for the Wizardly Duo Discord if you want to chat books, whether any of these books, other books, or really anything at all. It is a lot of fun, and we would love to have you. Of course, if you enjoy my content, make sure to subscribe.